Now on page 178, you are going to be using the alpha channel to create a shadow. So step 1, in the layers panel, click Windows, or press Control click on Windows, or Command click on a Mac. This will create a selection on your layer. Now that you have the walking ants on step 2, you are going to choose Select Save Selection. So select Save Selection. You're going to name it Model Outline and just double check that New is selected in the channel menu and click OK. So nothing changes in the layers panel or in the image window. However, a new channel named Model Outline has been added to the channels panel. So if you check your channels, you will now have a model outline. Now on step 3, click Create a New Layer icon at the bottom of the Layers panel. Drag the new layer below the model layer, so let's reorder that. Then double click and rename it to Shadow. With the shadow layer selected, choose Select Refine Edge. That one we can skip this step. This is step 4, because Refine Edge is a little bit different now in our version of Photoshop. Choose Edit Fill. So let's go ahead, Edit Fill. Make sure you do this on your shadow layer. And let's go ahead and select black and click OK. The shadow layer displays a filled in black outline of the model. Shadows aren't usually as dark as the person that casts them, so you'll need to reduce the layer opacity. So to double check that you did this correctly, if I turn off my visibility on my model layer, you should have a shadow in the background. So let's change the opacity of your shadow layer to 30. This will make it semi-transparent. So we need to shift it now. We are moving on to page 180. So choose Select Deselect to remove the walking ants or the selection, and click on Edit, Transform, Skew. What you're going to do is you're going to rotate the shadow by hand, meaning you go to one of the corners here and you can rotate it manually. But if that doesn't work, you can also just manually type -15 degrees here at the top or in the options bar. We're going to drag the shadow to the left or 845 in the x-axis. So you can also type that manually, or you can just drag him 845. So I'm just like approximating it, and if you're a little off, I'm just going to go ahead and type it. When you're done, you're going to click on the Commit Transform button or Enter. And there you have it. Go ahead and save your work. File, save. Next, on page 180, we are going to do an adjustment on an individual channel. So let's select the model layer. Choose image and then mode, CMYK. So this is usually used in printing, CMYK color mode. Once this dialog box appears, on step 2, it says do not merge. Okay? You want your individual layers. Don't merge. And click OK. Next, you're going to hold your Alt key and click on the visibility icon for the model layer to hide the other layers. So, holding the Alt key will render other layers invisible except for that one layer that you selected. So we want this model layer visible. Let's go back to our Channels tab or panel. We're going to select the black channel. So right here, this is the black channel. And what you're going to do is duplicate this channel. So you can right click, duplicate, and we're going to name this channel hair. Click OK. Now you have an extra channel here called hair. Let's make it visible. So let's click on the eyeball button and let's hide the black channel. So let's click on the eyeball there. Let's select the hair channel once more and choose Image, Adjustment, Levels. Moving on to page 182. In the Levels dialog box, adjust the levels to move black right here to 85. Okay. And your midtones to 1, that's the midtone, and white to 165. You can also just type it. Step 7. Step 7, we're going to go one more time. Image, Adjustment, Invert. Now the channel appears white against a black background. Select the brush tool. So let's go ahead and select the brush tool and then click the switch foreground and background colors icon in the tools panel to make the foreground color black. So you can click here to set it to default. It's a really tiny icon, and let's switch it with this arrow, or the shortcut is X. So we want the black as your foreground color. We're going to paint over the eyeglasses, eyes, and anything in the channel that isn't hair. So let's go ahead, let's adjust the brush tool, and I'm going to color everything else except for his hair. On step 9, click the Load Channel as selection icon at the bottom of the Channels panel. This will create a selection for your hair. Select the Layers tab in the Layers panel and select the model layer. Okay. Let's choose Select, Modify, and Feather, and type 1.2 pixels. Click OK. Next, you're going to choose Image, Adjustment, Hue, Saturation. Now we're going to select Colorize here on top of the preview icon. Let's set the hue to 230, saturation to 56, lightness to 11. Okay. And click OK. Next, you're going to choose Image Adjustment Layers or Levels, and we're going to move the slider so that the black slider is positioned where the blacks peak, the white slider where the whites peak, and the midtones in between. So we want it right about there. So this adjustment will give it like a really stark contrast. Or you can also just type the numbers there instead of dragging. Your results might be different, but this is what I got. 58, just like the book for your blacks, 165 for the midtones, and 255 for whites. Go ahead and click OK. Now this will give him like a lightish blue tinge to his hair. Let's go ahead and make the shadow in the background visible. Select Deselect, and this will be your finished project. Okay. If you have a little bit of his shadow peeking out, you can go ahead and erase some of that. And there you go. Go ahead and File, Save. And what I need you to turn into Schoology is the JPEG version. So File, Export, Export As, and go ahead and turn it in as a JPEG.